And it was a huge statement in Germany, also in Europe, that Bayern Munich is ready to go all the way until the end of that competition because the final will be in Munich.
Yes, Bayern are shaping up to be one of the top favourites for the Champions League this season, with Kompany implementing one of the craziest football tactics this century, leading the Bundesliga. And with one of the most capable squads in European football, the Bavarians have all the ingredients to play a home Champions League final on the 31st of May and break the curse after the nightmarish 2012. But can they achieve their dream of becoming the joint second most successful European club in history? Let's find out. First, we have to start with reason number one for Bayern's success this season: Vincent Kompany. His arrival from Burnley was greeted by comments from Bayern bosses Uli Hoeneß and Karl-Heinz Rummenigge such as "it looks like Bayern may have lost their head" and "I never thought it could be worse than with Tuchel." Even one of the biggest sports media outlets in the UK, The Athletic, slammed Kompany for his tactical naivety, stubbornness and inexperience after his relegation in charge of Burnley. The Independent went even further, saying that Burnley's relegation under Kompany ranks as one of the Premier League's worst ever relegations. So, here comes the first important question: why on earth would Bayern Munich, literally one of the biggest and highly honoured clubs in the world, hire a man who firstly only has 4 full seasons in the job and only one of them at the highest level, and secondly has no experience at a top club? I mean, Anderlecht and Burnley, they don't even come close to Bayern's legacy and reputation. Well, fast forward some 8 or 9 months later, and Bayern are reaping the rewards of success, and the fans are more than grateful to have Kompany on the hot seat. They are 7 points clear at the top of the Bundesliga, with 9 names to go, even after the recent slip-up against Bochum, which we'll get to in a moment, have beaten Bayer Leverkusen 3-0 in the first leg of their Champions League last 16 tie, are the second best attacking team in Europe, and are undoubtedly the most all-rounded team in Germany. So, what's the secret of this unprecedented success achieved by a manager with little or no experience at this level? Well, the first crucial factor, that's Kompany's excellent business in the transfer market. Of course, this doesn't happen without the help of the Bayern bosses, but it's the manager who gives the final green light for a move. First of all, it has to be said that Kompany's first transfer window wasn't exactly out of this world, but Bayern had their reasons, which we'll also get to in a moment. And the first name to arrive, Michael Olise, could easily be described as one of the best deals Bayern have made in years. After a brilliant last season at Crystal Palace, in which he scored 10 goals and provided 6 assists in the 2023-24 Premier League season, Bayern decided to acquire him. And even though his stats don't sound that respectful, let me remind you that he contributed those 16 goals in 19 games in the English top flight, missing half the year due to a serious hamstring injury. He was forced to miss 29 games in all competitions between June 2023 and April 2024. But having watched and analysed his performances this season in the Allianz Arena, those 58 million euros really do look like a bargain from today's perspective. During the 2024-25 season, Olise has not only proven to be good enough for a European giant, but he's arguably Bayern's most influential attacking weapon, alongside Harry Kane. He sits comfortably on the top of the whole Bayern Munich team in several important metrics: expected assists with 8.6, big chances created with 16, and total assists at 7. Another extremely interesting stat that describes Olise's importance for Bayern Munich is the goal contributions per 90. If we take all the top Bayern players who have played at least 1,500 minutes this season, which means that Gerneby drops from this statistic as he is well below that figure with 760 minutes of Bundesliga football to his name, it looks as that Harry Kane is first with 1.06 and Olise is second with 0.86 goals or assists per 90. But don't forget that the Englishman occupies a much deeper role than Olise, which realistically gives him more chances to punish the opposition, and he's also the team's main penalty taker, which gives his side an even more unfair advantage. So, to put it simply, Olise has been and will be an absolute must for Kompany this season, if he wants to crown Bayern the European champions for the 7th time in their history. By contrast, Bayern's other big signing of the summer, Joao Palhinha, hasn't been quite as impressive as Olise, and he's not even close, which, to be honest, is quite surprising given that the German giants were eager to have him. Initially, in the dying hours of the 2023 summer transfer window, he was just minutes away from finalizing a deal with the Bavarians, but it fell through. Eventually, he arrived in 2024 and was expected to be the main man alongside Joshua Kimmich in that double pivot role. Well, not only is he not Kimmich's starting partner, but he's not even the second choice for Kompany in the pecking order. Alexander Pavlovic and Leon Goretzka are far more consistent and have rightly been used more than Palhinha this season. However, the €50 million should not be seen as a bad investment by Bayern, as Palhinha's signing gives Kompany the freedom to experiment and rotate the squad, giving much-needed rest to players who have been overloaded. By the way, if you enjoy the video so far, subscribe to the Football Fanatic channel so you never miss any of our uploads in the future. So, back to the main point. Bayern definitely didn't overspend, investing no more than €130 million in 3 players, the aforementioned Olise and Palhinha, as well as Japanese fullback Hiroki Ito, who impressed for Stuttgart last season. Ito, along with Palhinha, provided the depth Kompany needed to make the team as competitive as possible. By comparison, only Harry Kane and Kim Min-jae cost Bayern around €150 million the previous year. Add that to their salaries, Kane tops the list with a reported €25 million gross a year, as well as those of Konrad Laimer and Rafael Guerreiro. Yes, they arrived as free agents, but they are among the top earners at Bayern Munich, earning €9 and €8 million respectively. So, with all of that said, is it too early to say that Vincent Kompany is building a dynasty at the Allianz Arena? But he definitely has a core of 7 to 8 players who are essential to his brand of football. A big testament to that is the board's current focus on renewing all expiring contracts. The deals with Alphonso Davies and Jamal Musiala have already been finalized, while Joshua Kimmich has reportedly agreed a renewal, although this is yet to be confirmed. But the biggest question remains, what makes Kompany's style of play so special for Bayern Munich? Well, everything about his philosophy could be summed up in one word: fluidity. Yes, everyone is focusing on the 2-4-4 formation that has literally impressed the whole of Europe since the start of the season. But the thing that really inspires me as a football analyst is Bayern's consistent movement all over the pitch. You literally can't work out the exact positions of the players, especially when they're in position. Kimmich often tucks in between Kim and Upamecano to create a numerical advantage in that side of the pitch. The fullbacks, Davies and Laimer, in most cases, both inverting in the half spaces. But the icing on the cake in that particular department is Jamal Musiala. Have you noticed that sometimes when managers talk about tactics, they seem very rigid and strict about what they're describing? Here the right winger inverts and puts the ball on his left foot, or the attacker has to drop deep to receive the ball, and anything of the sense. But when you have a player like Musiala in your team, everything goes beyond tactics. Musiala, just like Messi or Neymar or Eden Hazard, is that kind of player who doesn't care about tactics. He has the free role in the team, and he can do whatever he wants with the ball, because he just has the ability to do so. With that in mind, he is the most creative, versatile, and imaginative player in the team, and logically has all the freedom in the world to operate in the best way possible. He's comfortable dropping deep, receiving the ball and going one-on-one with an opponent, or often he tends to open up space for the left back by drifting out on the wing, leaving plenty of pitch for Davies to occupy. But the big game changer in Musiala unlocks when he is near or in the opposition box and has the opportunity to use his impressive dribbling skills, even with some brilliant dribblers in the team, like Coman, Gnabry, Sane and Olise. Musiala is by far the best dribbler in the team, averaging 3.8 successful dribbles per 90, which is 0.8 ahead of Olise and Coman. Having said all that, let's talk about Bayern's realistic chances of winning the European double this season. Let's start with the easier part, the Bundesliga. As you can see, everything is in Bayern's hands from here on in. 8 points at the top, with only 2 real tests ahead. At home to Borussia Dortmund on the 12th of April, and away to Leipzig on matchday 32. So yes, to put it simply, we are very, very close to seeing Harry Kane lift his first career trophy, which sounds absolutely unbelievable, but would surely be an unforgettable experience for him and all his fans. As for the Champions League, this is where the big stakes come in. Let's say Bayern have a 70 to 80% chance of reaching the quarterfinals after a dominant 3-0 leg over Bayer Leverkusen. In the next round, it is very possible for them to play Inter, as the Nerazzurri have a 2-0 lead over Feyenoord heading into the second leg at San Siro. And if Bayern manages to outcome the Italian opposition, it is very much possible for them to face Barcelona again, in a much-awaited revenge for that 4-1 humiliation in the league phase. All in all, it would be a dream come true for every Bayern fan to witness another Champions League final on home turf, after the 2012 edition when they unfortunately lost to Chelsea. So, how do you see their chances of playing the final on the 31st of May? If you enjoyed that one, don't forget to support us by hitting the subscribe and like buttons below. Catch you in the next one. Bye bye.